Hey, mahal everyone, welcome back again to the Broadway Saiyan YouTube channel. I am your host 40 and we are back with another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In today's video, we're going to be going over Chapter 9, which is going to be the likely next piece of content that we're going to be seeing on the global version of Dissidia Opera Omnia. And the reason why I'm saying that this is the likely next piece of content is because there is a maintenance announced that's going to be happening, and the timing of this maintenance fits around the time when they generally release a new chapter. Now, we may also be seeing some new Heretic quests because we are due for some new Heretic quests, but definitely Chapter 9 is just around the horizon. So let's go ahead and take a look at the details for Chapter 9. So Chapter 9 is going to be called Mirage City. Now again, this is subject to change, but the name for it, roughly translated, is called Mirage City. So just like with any other chapter, we get a new part of the story, 3 new characters, new weapon summon banner, a new summon, and new enemies and bosses. So taking a look at the details for that, we have 22 total story missions for Chapter 9. We have 12 side missions, 2 extra missions, 4 character missions for both Irvine and Serah, and then with the gate missions that you need to use to unlock the specific gates around Chapter 9 are unlocking Irvine, Serah, and Edgar, and then leveling Lightning, Squall, Setzer, and Zell to level 20. Alright, so taking a look at the 3 new characters, so we're going to be getting 3 characters as mentioned earlier, the first one being Irvine from Final Fantasy VIII. He is going to be our ranged DPS, ranged Imperil specialist. His crystal affinity is yellow. Speed tier wise, he's actually fast. Taking a look at his stats, so his HP is low, it's a bit on the low side, doesn't even hit 4,000. His initial brave is decent. Max brave is actually his best stat, at capping out at 550 at level 1 and then 1500. His attack is actually not bad either, and his defense is pretty average. So overall, his stats are pretty good for a ranged DPS unit. His ability 1 is called Canister Shot. This is going to be a 3-hit range brave attack that has a small speed down debuff for 3 turns inflicted on the enemy. His ability 2 is called Grape Shot, which is a 2-hit AoE range brave plus HP attack. The HP damage that's dealt this time is divided equally amongst all targets, and he also has a low probability of inflicting range resistance down for 2 turns. So he's going to be our very first range Imperil specialist that's going to be coming to Opera Omnia. The second character is going to be Serah, a fan favorite, and a lot of folks are actually excited for her. Coming from Final Fantasy XIII, her role is going to be a range magic DPS slash debuffer. Her crystal affinity is going to be white, with her speed tier also being fast. Her HP is actually very good. Initial brave is great, max brave is good, attack is pretty good, and defense is actually pretty good. So her stats across the board are actually fairly good. They're nothing overly too high, but then again, nothing too low. So pretty good stats on that for Serah. Her first ability is called Wound. It's a 1-hit brave attack. It also inflicts poison and small max brave down for 2 turns. 2 status ailments or debuffs that actually do complement each other. And then her second ability is called Moonlight, which increases Serah's brave first based on her attack, and then by 1.2 before she inflicts an HP attack. This also grants her a small attack up for 3 turns. And the final character that we're going to be seeing for Chapter 9 is going to be Edgar from Final Fantasy VI. His role is going to be a melee DPS. His crystal affinity is going to be red. Taking a look at his stats, his HP is not bad. Initial brave is slightly on the low side, max brave is pretty good, attack is pretty good, and defense is quite high. Ability 1 is called Auto Crossbow, named after one of his tools in Final Fantasy VI. This is going to be a 1-hit AoE range brave attack that also deals extra damage to machine-type enemies. His ability 2 is called Drill. This is going to be a 2-hit brave plus HP attack. It inflicts small defense down, and it also deals extra damage to machine-type enemies. Now, he does have a brave attack plus. This is going to be a stronger 1-hit brave attack that also deals that extra damage to machine-type enemies. This is going to be usable for 4 turns after using Drill. However, keep in mind this does require his 35 CP weapons passive in order for him to use Brave Attack Plus. So Edgar is also a machine killer, so that's his other rule for the type of character that he is. Now, taking a look at the banner. So, just like with any chapter banner, we're going to be having 2 featured 35 CP weapons, being that of Edgar's and Serah's. So let's take a look at those. So we have 5-star 35 CP Partisan for Edgar. So Drill's damage output is going to be increased, as well as its action delay being lowered. The defense down that it inflicts is going to have its potency increase, and it's also going to have its duration extended. It's also going to give Edgar now a small attack up for 4 turns, and it changes his Brave Attack to Brave Attack Plus. We're also going to be seeing his 5-star 15 CP Mithril Spear. So this is going to give auto crossbow a damage output increase, and it's also going to lower its action delay. It's also going to grant Edgar a small max brave up and small speed up for 4 turns. Edgar's also going to be receiving his 4-star 20 CP golden armor, so if you happen to pull that, well, then you have something to equip to him just in case you don't want to use your armor tokens to give him his 5-star 35 CP armor. Now for Serah, we're going to be getting her 5-star 35 CP Amazon bow. So this is going to be increasing Moonlight's brave gain. It's also going to be giving that brave gain to all allies this time, and it's going to be lowering its action delay. The attack up that she gives to herself, it's going to have its potency increased, and it's also going to grant all party members a small max brave up for 3 turns, so pretty good. Her 5-star 15 CP weapon is called Star Seeker, so wounds damage output is going to be increased. The poison and max brave down debuff, it's going to have their potency increased, and also it's going to extend their duration. And again, she's going to be getting her 4-star 20 CP Angel's Crown, something to give her if you don't want to use your armor tokens again. And then lastly, the 15 CP weapon that we're going to be receiving is going to be Valiant for Irvine. So canister shots damage output is going to be increased. The speed down debuff is going to have its potency increase, and it's going to have an extended duration. It's also going to give Irvine a small max brave up for 4 turns. And we're also going to be receiving his 4-star 20 CP 10-gallon hat. Again, if you don't want to use your armor tokens for Irvine, well, this is an option for you to give him. Now, what are my thoughts on this banner? The jackpot for sure is going to be Serah. It's going to make Serah a whole lot better and a whole lot more usable. It's going to give her a chance to be able to support the party. However, if you already have a strong support character, and Edgar himself, he's cool. He's a machine killer, so he's kind of like his brother Sabin, who's like a ghost killer. They specialize in dealing damage to specific enemies. However, as a unit himself, he's decent. He's okay. Comparing him to the rest of the cast that's doing really well right now in Global, I really don't see him outshining them. And unfortunately, it's the same thing with Serah and the same thing with Irvine. They're great in their own sort of way, but they're kind of niche. Serah is better with her 35 CP, so if you really want to pull, that's what I would go for. But if you already have characters built up, or if you're one of those folks that want to save, for better weapons or the EX weapons, and you already have some of the stronger characters such as like Squall, Tidus, Lightning, Papalimo, Aiko, if you have them built up, I would say maybe a pass on this banner, but it's really up to you. Again, if you like these characters, then by all means go ahead and pull for them. Alright, so we're also going to be getting a new summon, which is going to be Pandemona. We're going to be getting our second Wind Elemental Eidolon. So Pandemona raises HP and Brave damage by 5% during a chain, does 500 magic wind Brave damage, and also grants the party the wind attribute. It's going to be one of those moderately slow summons, starting off at 5 turns with a max Brave bonus of 1,000. So those are its stats at level 1. So if you want to build up Pandemona, well, here we're going to be getting Pandemona in this chapter. So that's pretty cool. Alright, now the last thing I want to talk about is noteworthy bosses to encounter. So we're going to be encountering Atlas, who's actually going to be the final boss for Chapter 9. We're also going to be fighting the Emperor from Final Fantasy 2, Black Waltz 3 from Final Fantasy 9, and then we're going to be facing Kuja again in Chapter 9. So that's going to be pretty cool that we get to face off against these enemies. Alright guys, so now we're going to take a look at some gameplay. I'm going to show you guys some gameplay for Chapter 9. We're going to be taking the Chapter 9 characters, and we're actually going to be fighting the final boss for Chapter 9, just kind of like as a showcase to prepare you guys for Chapter 9, which is going to be Atlas. So let's go ahead and take a look at that gameplay. Alrighty guys, so here we are with some gameplay from my JP version of Dissidia Opera Omnia, showcasing the final boss for Chapter 9 to prepare you guys for the upcoming Chapter 9 content that we're going to be seeing soon on the global version of the game. So we're going to be facing off against Atlas. So let's go ahead and click on Atlas here, and I can go ahead and talk about him a little bit. I know this is in Japanese, but I do have some of the information from Dissidia DB on this boss. So Atlas is going to be weak to fire and ice. So definitely, if you want to take an Eidolon, you want to definitely take either Ifrit or you want to take Shiva, depending on who you have built up. By now, in Global, you should have them close to maxed out, if not even maxed out, because we do have those World of Illusion events permanently available to us. Now, a few of the abilities that you want to make sure to watch out for when facing Atlas. He does something called Roar, which is a group magic brave attack that also grants him max brave up, attack up, and speed up to himself. So you want to keep an eye out for that. You want to keep out for an attack he does called Squish, which is an AoE melee brave attack. It removes all debuffs from Atlas, and it also removes all buffs from the party excluding the buffs that are framed. So just want to keep that in mind that he's going to be doing that too. And then the last ability that he's going to use is called Chain Strike, which is an AoE melee brave attack, which also deals group HP attack to all of our party members. So keep those abilities in mind. Other than that, he's not going to be too difficult. I actually think that Dark Bahamut was a lot harder than he was, so we're just going to go ahead and tackle this fight. And if you guys don't know what I'm referring to, Dark Bahamut was the final boss for Chapter 8. I remember the first time that I did that, that fight was a bit tricky because you get into the habit of, oh, I'm just going to burn this boss down with summons, but Dark Bahamut's a tricky one, so... But yeah, we're going to go ahead and do this final battle here. So we have Irvine, Edgar, and Serah. So we're going to save their abilities just for a few rounds here. We don't want to use their abilities. Now for my JP account, for both Edgar and Irvine, I have their 15 CP and 35 CP. Unfortunately for Serah, I only have her 15, but it's what it is, you know. I didn't pull too much when these banners came out for Chapter 9. Alrighty, so let's do this. So Edgar should be dealing more damage to those because they are machines. So when we get to the third fight, which is going to be the mini-boss, which is going to be those two mannequins. Let's see, we're going to actually use some abilities here. Let's take a look at Wound. So let's see how Wound looks like. Alright, there we go. So she inflicts the Max Brave down and the Poison debuff, which is nice. Let's take a look at Irvine's Grape Shot. And very cool, so he deals that divided HP damage to all targets, and the animation for that is actually kind of cool. Very, very stylish, which is, the kind of, you know, Irvine is, you know, he's kind of a Rico Suave kind of a character, and he's very stylish with his gun and his cowboy hat. Oh, look at this! We're facing a familiar enemy that just recently came out to us. Or is it the same thing as the Iron Worm? It kind of looks like the Iron Worm. No, actually, I don't think it is. But anyways, let's go ahead and, use Canister Shot. There we go. Let's take a look at... No, actually, we're going to save Moonlight. And let's take a look at Drill. And then there's Auto Crossbow. Alright, let's do Grape Shot again. That was actually really cool. That ability looks so cool. I just like the stylishness of it. Okay. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Moonlight. Boom! There we go. So that also gave Serah her attack up to herself. We're going to be getting hit with an AoE attack, so don't want to get broken. Alrighty, so here we go. We're going to be fighting Atlas, and I like that animation for this boss fight where we got to run to it because it's so big. This boss is actually pretty huge. Look at that. Look at that beast. He's huge. Kind of reminds me of Ganondorf, actually. He looks like one of his like final forms. Alright, so we're going to use Wound. We want to inflict that debuff. We're going to save our summon, and we're just going to go ahead and use Canister Shot. Get as many debuffs as we can. Let's go ahead with Edgar. We're just going to do a Brave attack. Let's see what he does. Okay, so he did Roar, so now he has his buffs. So let's go ahead and Grape Shot. Drill. I'm just going to HP attack just so we can move much later. Try to get him down to 50% before we use our summon. Alright, here we go. Let's go ahead and summon. There we go. And down goes Atlas. Alright guys, well I hope you guys enjoyed that gameplay footage from my JP account for the upcoming Chapter 9 that we're going to be seeing very soon on Gbobal. Again guys, if you enjoy my videos, be sure to consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, and also be sure to turn on that notification bell. That way when I post a video, you guys are first to know when that video goes live. And also, don't forget, I am streaming now a lot more actively on Twitch, not only Opera Omnia, but we're also doing Star Ocean Anamnesis, as well as the recently released Octopath Traveler, which I absolutely love right now. You guys already know that, so. Anyways guys, I am 40 the Broadway Saiyan. Stay tuned for my next video, and mahal everyone.